Hey, Rob Brinded here, going to be talking about everything to do with mind, body, and spirit, and how to play this game of life and master it, so that we, find freedom, enjoyment, and peace. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of the things that you're probably doing, and it is making things much more difficult for you in finding freedom, from physical, mental limitations. And it's a kind of a creep effect. So I'm going to talk about it again. I try and I'm into the science of results. I'm not into learning lots of information. It has to be applicable. And again, this is going to be a video where you can apply this. So I took the weekend off. Normally I write every day to my email list. If you want to subscribe, click on robbrinded.com and you can add your email. That's where I write every day. But I didn't this weekend because I needed a bit of time away from the computer. So I was on. My wife has a project called A Place to Be, and we with a partner have acquired a huge piece of land, 500,000 meters squared, in its beautiful sort of subtropical forest. And so we were there, having fires, connecting with friends, and I managed to get some nice bit of walking in. Now, I kind of made a point to do that this weekend, is to disconnect from the social media and the internet, because, and I'm sure you'll agree, the more you spend online, it becomes extremely addictive. And if you look at the way your mind works, what it's doing is trying to find certainty or pleasure, or it's distracting itself. Yeah, so you'll be looking for things that hook your hamster wheels. So you want to find the right information, so you're more able, so that you can support yourself more, so you can be more valuable and gain and win and succeed, whether it be with your career, money, your health, relationships, etc. So that world, the internet, that online world, it catches your mind and pulls you in. Now, the more you do that, the more your mental side takes over. And what I find a lot of clients telling me, and what I experience myself, is when I come away from, say, being on Twitter or YouTube, I don't feel good, and I feel wired, and I feel like I've wasted my time, and it feels very disconnected. And so what happens is that has a cumulative effect. And if you look at the body as body, mind, and spirit, the body becomes you become less connected with your physical intelligence and your body, and you drift into your head and your mind. And your mind is not your friend. It's just old scripts running on loop, and it's very mechanical. And the mind works on the past and the future, so it traps you. And so that is a compounding effect. We become more and more trapped. And so taking yourself away from away from the internet and your computer, which again becomes a habit, it traps your mind. You go into nature, and then you connect with the physical intelligence of nature and light. Now, there's a great book I'm reading at the moment. I can't reiterate this more, is that when for me, I'm not telling you how to be, when I read a book, it's only to be able, can I use this in my life? Or is it just information that is non-applicable? But I found this book, and I'm applying it in a specific way. It's about plasma. So it's the New Science of Heaven, I think it's that, by Robert Temple, and it's fascinating. And he's talking about the new field of biophysics, and looking at how the universe is made up of 99% plasma. This has kind of been known for a little bit, but most, as is always the case, right, with science, it's still stuck in the past. Now, 99% of the universe is plasma, and so the physical bodies, like our body, made of atoms, and it's like a organic matter, That's actually rare in the universe. And what Robert Temple is talking about in the book is that a Polish guy in the 1961 or something, he found two huge clouds between the Earth and the Moon, and he was called Kowalewski. Kielendeski. Anyway, he talks. A brilliant guy found them, mapped them, and very difficult to see because the particles are so small. And it wasn't until fairly recently that some Hungarian astronomers were observing. You have to observe to find things, and they found them. And so Robert Temple is big into the plasma side of things and started looking at them, and has found that they have a self-structuring inorganic material. They self-structure and they're intelligent. And he was saying that they create these helic particles, like shapes like DNA, and they're self-forming, and they've been self-forming for billions of years. And so these possibly, he's suggesting that these possible intelligent clouds or this intelligent plasma is light years ahead of us, and that the UFOs that we see, these plasma things that are floating around, act like drones for these two clouds. So it's a deep dive, and if you find that interesting, I definitely recommend it. But what I'm looking at is, for some reason, it gave me more, for me personally, in the way my brain and my mind works, is when I'm working with someone and I'm working on them energetically, it's very possible that's just plasma. So he says, the Chinese qi is plasma. So we're just made of plasma. We have plasma fields around us, and we're all interconnected. I think also he did some work with David Bohm, and David Bohm's field, which consciousness connects to this plasma, and so our universe is connected to our consciousness, and we can have an effect on it, and that we're all connected. So listening to that again, it reiterates what my experience with life is and getting results with people, not just gaining knowledge, gaining information. It's based on my knowledge of what I've seen, and I always go with that. What works, that kind of thing. So bringing it back to taking time in nature, nature is just a plasma field of physical intelligence, and the more quiet you are, as in less mind, the more you can connect with the universe or nature. And working with Dr. Cam Ewan for many years, or learning from him, I always remember catching him say things like, Rob, he said once on a call, I like to connect with the higher intelligence in the universe, and I want to be strong to connecting, and I strengthen my midline to resonate and connect with the higher intelligence in the universe. I also heard him say another time, the physical intelligence of the universe. And so that fits beautifully with this new science of plasma. And what I know from working with myself, and this is something I work on daily and I work with my clients, is you want your physical intelligence to take over. You want it to be higher than the other, like mental and spiritual intelligence. So what I do is I send my mind and my spirit out of my body every day. So I send my mind, because my mind is just a mechanical loop, old operating system. And my spirit being sort of all experiences in the universe. And it's possible that those two clouds are what we would class as heaven. Your plasma field leaves your organic body when you die, and it goes back to these two clouds. Possible. And when I work, so I've worked with psychics, but very well-known psychics, and I've worked with them on their physical body. So they don't need me to work on their mental spiritual stuff, because they're experts in that, but they've got loads of problems with their body. Why is that? Because what they're not doing is kind of realizing that the physical intelligence of your body's intelligence is the most important thing for you to work with, because your physical intelligence connects like an internet with the physical intelligence of the universe. And all your answers through, when you can feel, which is what I do, I feel for the answers of strong or weak, 1 and 0 code. I connect that, I program that in to connect with my perception, my intuition. That gives me insight. Insight meaning I can get answers that aren't available. Now, again, that sounds ridiculous to, you know, a scientific person, but the science is now showing that actually it's probable that this is what we're capable of, but you have to experience it yourself. Then you can connect to your own answers, get to action, and get the results you want. That's called manifesting. So this physical intelligence is inhibited by your mental intelligence, again, which is just old information mechanically remembered, and you don't get results. You can maybe talk about spiritual stuff and be able to recite thousands of books, but you can't get results with people. It's just information. Information that's not applicable is useless. So again, we have this physical intelligence which we can feel. You want to be connecting with your midline. You know, there's your bottom brain and your brain, which is your central nervous system. That needs to be able to be switched on and tensed, and then that physical intelligence the fitness of that needs to be, you know, the correct speed, strength, agility, coordination, flexibility, endurance. So that can be switched on, bam, instantly switched on. This is our physical intelligence. We work like computers, okay? And so in sending out our mind and our spirit, again, I was talking about the psychic, what they're very good at is going into the spirit. They kind of have techniques that go into the spirit, but what they don't realize is they're constantly downloading from the spirit. They're downloading everyone else's stuff onto the computer. So what you find usually with very good psychics is they're usually quite big, kind of obese, because they use it's a dirty form of downloading. However, we know how to delete things off our computer, right? We don't have to download them and keep them in the cloud. And it sounds maybe a bit crazy, but this is where we get results, right? So you don't want to download other people's stuff. Otherwise, you're going to get massive, and your physical intelligence will be wrecked, and you'll get diabetes and everything else. You know, you'll start you start pulling in too much iron, and it has a negative magnetic effect on the plasma and blocks your energy flow. So we send our mind and our spirit out of our bodies, and we send it elsewhere, and we're left with our physical intelligence, and that's what we want to work with. So going into nature is just a really simple way, especially if you barefoot, is you're connecting with the plasma around you, and you're, you know, sucking it up and pulling it in. And the sun is made of plasma, so the sun's rays are plasma, and you're topping up your plasma field, so to speak. As I talk about in my book Glitch, the battery of your body, which runs on minerals, but fundamentally on energy, plasma. So you, on a daily basis, it's kind of like, I wouldn't like to say it's a fight, but most people are completely caught in their mind. And if you're at the point, hopefully watching this, you realize you're not your mind and you can separate from it. That means you have to, unless you're extremely skilled, you want to, at some point in the day, you need to be quiet and you need to be still, or go for a very nice gentle walk, especially in nature. And then you can separate from the mind. In that moment, you can connect with your physical intelligence. You can get rid of your mind and your spirit. It's your intention, it's to send them away, go explore another universe. And in doing so, therefore it is done, because we're working with consciousness. And then you'll find yourself completely neutral, as in no mind. And then you can connect with, with your answers. So that's what I did this weekend. I talk about that in my email, and I actually am starting to put in plasma strengthening phrases. So when you read them, it happens to you because we're all connected by a plasma field. So this is the new science. It sounds like woo-woo for some people, or sort of like spiritual stuff, but you know, it's how you get results. So if someone's talking to me about spiritual stuff and it just sounds like it's their ego and they think they're better than everyone else and they're going to live forever, I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in what works. And what works is getting rid of your mind or quieting it, getting into your physical intelligence. And that's where you'll find freedom and peace. There's no freedom and peace in your mind. It's closed loop. And there's nothing in your spirit. There's all the shit that's ever happened in your spirit. And so you have to be extremely skilled to be able to go in, but you want to come back out and not download it. Okay, so all my videos are going to be now either looking at your physical body, physical intelligence and health. And so that incorporates diet and exercise, but some people just think it's only diet, which it isn't. It's the fundamental material of the universe is plasma, energy, and therefore you need to be able to connect and work with your energy. So I'll be talking about plasma work or energy work, and I'll be talking about the mind. So those three things are what you really want to master if you're on this planet, but at least master two of them. I would recommend hamster wheels, your mind, because that's there. It has to be done by yourself. And then just start eating food that we've developed over hundreds of thousands of years to eat. Don't eat according to an ideology. Eat what nature shows us we should be eating. And then with the spirit, this is one you got to be careful with. And I would just suggest working with ones and zeros and look after your physical intelligence. And, that for me is the highest return on investment that you can. Your ROI is the greatest, and it's how you win at this game of life, because there are rules, and once you know them, you can play the game that you want to play. So thanks for listening. If you like it, appreciate like and subscribe. You can subscribe to my email at robbrinde.com if you're interested in getting this type of content every day. It has a cumulative effect on you, and even if just reading it, that you're downloading the information and it's changing you. So thanks so much. Have a great day.